We are live now.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Dr. KK's Heart Care Foundation of India, I welcome you to our 91st weekly webinar. This was started by Dr. KK Agarwal during the pandemic with the whole aim of educating young minds because he always believed that if we teach them young, we will be able to inculcate good habits in children and also in the world because children will influence their parents, their ecosystem, their teachers, even. So the whole idea is to bring forward different schools, different principals, teachers, and students with their parents to kind of have discussions on important and most pertaining topics. We're talking about obesity in children, motapa, jisko kehte hain. There are lots of issues when it comes to the whole conception around and the whole perception that people carry. People who are not fat may think that they are fat. People who are obese may think, may ignore the effects of obesity on our long term health. Yes, obesity is a healthcare problem which can be dealt with, but just because सोशल मीडिया पे कोई पतला लगता है या कोई मोटा लगता है ये नहीं मतलब कि हम मोटे हैं या पतले हैं. हेल्दी होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, हेल्दी खाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, एंड अपने आईज में अच्छा लगना भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. सेल्फ इमेज इज समथिंग दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So, this is going to be our topic for the day, and we have an expert who will come and speak to us about that. But before that, I would really like to thank our co-host for the day, for supporting us and for supporting our entire mission. Week on week, we see principals really taking out time from their busy schedules and joining us here. So, from the bottom of my heart, really, really thank you for supporting us and hope to continue doing this with all of you. Welcoming Mrs. Vibha Khosla, Principal Sri Ram Global School, Delhi, Mrs. Meenakshi Khanna, Principal Little Ferry Public School, and Mrs. Aruna Sivraj, Principal Himalaya Public School, Rohini. I would now invite Vibha ma'am to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Nena. First of all, my gratitude and best wishes to you because I really see the way you are taking Dr. KK Agarwal's legacy ahead, and you're organizing such meaningful, seminars and meetings, and you're trying to actually enlighten everybody. That's very important and need of the hour. So, with this, I would also like to welcome Dr. Sanjay Baruth, who is practicing bariatric surgery exclusively. So, if you permit, I would just like to speak a little bit about him. That I came to know that he is, a holder of Limca Book of Records for bariatric surgery, and he's performed a surgery on an 11-month-old baby. So, after reading this, uh, there are a lot of questions that come up, that what are we, where do we stand, and what is all that we need to know. And also he has performed Asia's first Google Eye bariatric surgery with the Google team, and he's been practicing general as a general surgeon since 1989. But after that, he has exclusively come as an obesity surgeon since 2000. And ever since that, he's been practicing this, and he's one of the pioneer surgeons in obesity in India. He also had the privilege of learning about obesity surgeries at a lot of renowned centers in USA, Belgium, and also Spain. And he's got many, many honors and awards for the lab surgery that he's performed. So, it's an honor to be with somebody who's got an experience of 29 years and who's done his MBBS and MS in this. And specifically, he specializes in this. See, everybody wants to look beautiful. That's very important. And a very important definition of beautiful is that you have to be thin. So here, when we're talking about children, obesity in children, so it's such a lovely topic that we've taken today, that it's not only being thin, but it's also being healthy. So this, my gratitude to our moderator for today, who's Naina Agarwal Ahuja, and also a trustee of Dr. KK Agarwal Heart Care Foundation of India, and the founder of Talking Point Communications. She has a lead. She's leading integrated PR and communication agency in India and servicing clients across the domains of startups, healthcare, technology, FMCG, education, and social lifestyle and entertainment. So it's actually a privilege to be here today and to hear this out. So I'm actually eagerly looking forward, and I have a lot of questions which are there. So over to you, please. We would be eagerly waiting to hear all of you out today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Calling Minakshi, ma'am.
Thank you, Viva ma'am. Thank you, Naina ma'am. Warm greetings to the entire team present here. I am Meenakshi Khurana. On behalf of Little Ferry Public School, would like to express my gratitude for giving me chance to attend this Heartcare Foundation discussion with Dr. Sanjay Brood. Sir, you are not only the holder of Limca book record of the bariatric surgery on a mere only 11 months old infant, performing Asia's first Google Eye bariatric surgery with Google team is yet another feather under your cap. Sir, as Vibha ma'am told you much about you, I want to say it is evident that childhood obesity has risen to the pandemic levels, especially during this COVID time. With the massive adoption of technology at the hand of pandemic, children are totally absorbed with various gadgets around them. Moreover, it is greatly interrupted and hidden their daily routine. An unfortunate outcome, as we all can see, is obesity. Sir, I would request you to give us the insight on that how, as a teacher or a parent, we can play in overcoming this obesity. Thank you, and over to Naina ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Calling Aruna, ma'am. Aruna, ma'am, would you like to say a few words? Aruna, ma'am, can you hear us? Okay, I think she's having some network issue. Dr. Sanjay, thank you so much for joining us. I know bariatric surgery is something that a lot of people don't know about. There's also a great sort of there's so much stigma associated with obesity and like people say motapa or being fat or there's so much fat shaming that people do within the school ecosystem and within the college ecosystem. I myself have a cousin who needed a bariatric surgery at a young age because he was genuinely in need of it, and he was overweight. It was kind of impacting his day-to-day life and living, and led him in to depression and other things. So just want you to kind of give us an overview of what is healthy, what is being healthy, what is being too thin, what is being too fat, maybe to start with, because we have very very young minds also here who may not know and who just kind of see watch on TV or watch on social media and have a different perception that they create thanks to what they see. Dr. Sanjay, you're on mute. You're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me for this talk on child obesity. Since the time I think way back 2011, when I had operated this patient Zoya Khan, one who was 11 months old, and since then I have started getting patients who were really very young. So bariatric surgery is actually not supposedly to be done on very young children. We wait until their puberty as a most minimum um, factor. Child obesity is a growing medical issue, and early morbidity and early mortality in this patient, in these people unless you take care of the children at proper time. And I always say that every child can be can be an asset to that particular family, that particular city, that particular state, nation, and even globally. Because every child has some or the other potential which will definitely help, to the society. They can become obese if any child. I always say that every child is not obese, or every child is not alone to become an obese person. They can become obese at either at their home or at school or in their neighborhood where they actually stay, or they have some psychological issues or some hormonal issues to be associated with. So that's the primary reason. Generally, when we doctors say, any child under the age of 10 can have genetic factors more than the social factor, while children above the age of 10 would have genetic as well as hormonal factors as their primary cause. If you look at them primarily, these children or that particular family, they may not have the complete awareness about what are calories. Let's take it for ourselves also. Whenever we were children, even when I was a child, until the age of 20, probably, I never had known that whatever ice cream that I'm having, how much calorie does it have? Whatever sweets, chocolates, whatever I'm consuming, how many calories do they have? The junk food that I will indulge in, what calories they would have, and how are they going to affect on my body. So everybody here would definitely say, be agreeing with me that we never had ever thought about what are calories when we eat or drink. So generally, this is a preventable problem, and it is definitely underdiagnosed or undertreated. So this has to be seen primarily in every child, rather every family. 30% and more children are obese, and while about 4 to 5% children nationally, they are morbidly obese. When we conducted a survey in uh, the categories as low socioeconomic school category and a higher socioeconomic school category, there we saw higher socioeconomic group category children were
Sorry, sir, I think you've
children.
gone on mute.
So we have to be very careful on this. The treatment, when we start with the children who need diet counseling and everything, we start with the parents first, their teachers, and their society members or their neighborhood. We conduct those awareness programs and we take it forward. In fact, all these years recently, we have started requesting government bodies or policymakers to make some arrangements in this people in these societies to make awareness programs. So bariatric surgery can be a long term and a safe solution, but primarily to begin with, it is the diet, it is the exercise program, it is that awareness we ask these people to undergo. This is a short review. I would love to take the questions uh, for this obesity. now on. When I just heard that there are a lot of questions, so I want every child who was present, every parent who have the questions, I would love to answer them. Then just I do not want to take a kind of a boring class for these young ones, which I am seeing on screen right now.
So, Nena, if I have the permission, can I just
Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. We actually, first of all, we really want to know that you told us about the diet, right? But what exactly is the surgery? And we know why it's required. But when is it required and how would it help? So that's a basic thing that we would want that you just tell us about.
Okay. It's a very good question when comparing to the child obesity, because if go anywhere else, we first would think about having any person with a non-surgical treatment, that is diet and exercise. Some people, whenever a child who's severely obese, so we recommend surgery only to those children who are either severely obese or they have some metabolic issues, and this surgery is conducted only for the patients or children who are who have life-threatening problems in their life. Then them only we consider as a surgical patient. That initially with our nutritionist, we and being the children which are growing, their needs of the nutrition is very important for their complete the body growth, and that's how we put them on a proper nutritious food and exercise program. Under the age of 10, the exercise doesn't matter much, but the nutritious diet which is important, because every parent thinks a chubby baby as a healthy baby, but we explain it to the parents that chubby is not always healthy. So we should take care of that particular child. We have to take into consideration the family history of that particular child. If the parents are obese, then we have to understand how to plan a diet. When the parents are suffering from any metabolic disease like diabetes, high blood pressure, some cancers, or heart issues, then we have to plan their diet accordingly. So, so that's how considering all these factors, we plan a diet for this patient, this particular child.
Thank you so much,
Bariatric
Doctor.
surgery.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I really love something that you are actually practicing what you're preaching. So instead of telling us for surgery, you're first telling us that there's a remedy for that, and secondly, I see that all of us are sitting inside, but you're standing outside and you're going ahead and addressing all of us. So kudos to you. That's a lovely thing to do. I think it teaches all of us that instead of being limited in our spaces, we can be standing outside in the garden, taking fresh air, and also burning some more calories, which is important. So, what exactly do we do in this surgery, Doctor? That's another thing that we'd like to know.
Bariatric surgery, or fondly called as obesity surgery, they were invented about in 1955, between that era of 1955. So this was a funny story for children to really listen to. This was a road traffic accident patient who was severely obese at that point of time, and he had to undergo multiple operations on his intestines, stomach and the intestine. Surprisingly, this patient was trying to lose weight, and post this surgery of road traffic accident, he started losing weight. That's how doctors at that time they started wondering how is this happening. So the role of intestine in anyone's uh, 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 any factor as a obesity. So that doctor started researching on that factor, and that's how the bariatric surgery were born there. And then all over the world, people started taking interest in understanding the nature of the nature and the role of intestine in the anyone's metabolism. And then today we do the most refined bariatric surgery in our country as well. So these surgeries are about 65, 70 years old, and we have started doing these surgeries in Mumbai uh, about 21 years ago. So this surgery basically creates a stomach, or maybe I would explain
Okay.
to my our children here. When we were born, we are born with a small stomach. That is, uh, yeah, when you see a 3 months old child, 3 months old child is just on mother's milk. 6 months old baby just on a puree diet, small cutlery and a small spoon. With that small cutlery full uh, uh, food, that also suffices. That also fills up baby's stomach. Means the stomach size is small. As the age starts growing, the stomach size starts in expanding, and it keeps expanding up till the uh, uh, adulthood, and then it stops. If but the stomach has a quality of expansion. So as you start dumping food, those foodie people, those they keep eating, and then the stomach starts expanding. And now in obese people, what we have seen is their stomach is quite much expanded than a normal weighing person. And whenever we eat, unless we eat the whole quantity of uh, the reservoir, the stomach, we don't feel satiated because the nerves starting from the stomach, they reach the brain, and and then they inform the brain that your stomach is full, that they get satiated, and that's how we stop eating. But in a person who has a bigger, wider stomach, they need bigger food than a normal weighing person. So when the stomach is made small, again back to baby size. So they go on to baby milk, and extra calories what you require to that particular person are they are short of uh, those extra calories, and those stored calories in the fat, they are used up, and so the fat cells which are storing the calories, they start shrinking in size, and that's how the person starts shrinking in size. And the, the primary surgeries of bariatric, they just we one of the surgeries what we do is we reduce the volume of the stomach, so they eat less and feel satiated faster. So this is one type of surgery which is called as sleeve gastrectomy. There is another surgery wherein the first part of the intestine which absorbs the maximum nutrition, which is bypass. So we make the stomach size small, and we resect the intestine, which is which is beyond 1 meter, and then join it back to the stomach, and the rest of the intestine is joined back with the intestine. So it is a wide loop which is called as gastric bypass, and it has got a little bit of a metabolic effect. So that food, whatever ingested, bypasses that first absorbing 1 meter of the intestine and reaches to the later part of the intestine. So these are called as metabolic surgeries. So the the basic factor which is the making the stomach pouch smaller, and the upper part of the stomach which secretes the hormone called ghrelin, which gives us appetite, which is which is excluded from that part, and that's how this obese people, those who have excess appetite, that is also taken care. So their appetite goes down. Their their consumption power to consume the food, that also is reduced, and that's how these surgeries work. Because we have normally seen, if even if you tell a lot of children or people who are obese, who love to eat because of their higher hormones, but they can't observe diet because even though they eat less, but they are always empty stomach, and they have tremendous appetite because of that ghrelin producing uh, stomach. So that stomach is excluded. So it works in two ways: reduces the appetite and reduces the volume to consume food. This is how bariatric surgery is work.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Uh, sir, due to net problem, I couldn't speak. I welcome you, sir. I welcome all the parents and co-host Naina ma'am, everybody. Sir, actually, my children are all children are sitting here, and due to this pandemic, they are sitting at home. There is no exercise, nothing. Keep on eating, eating, eating. That's why that is the main reason they are putting more weight, sir. So I used to explain them, you have to burn whatever you eat, you have to burn the calories, right, sir? So do you think this is overweight and obesity? Both are same, sir? Obesity and overweight, both are same?
No. Now, under the age of 10, we always do measure the severity of obesity by weight percentile, which is about 85, 80 or 85th percentile to 95th percentile. These are our calculations in children. So 85th to 95th percentile, they are average and they are normal children. Anything above that, which is obesity, and beyond 100 to 105 percentile, that is severe obesity. So these are calculations done by the doctor. In in normal words, to simplify this, any person who's about 20 to 25 kilograms excess their ideal body, they are considered severely. In between, they are obese. So obesity is graded in mild obesity, moderate obesity, and severe obesity. So any child or any adult who is obese, who who can be safely this obesity can safely be calculated as weight and height ratio, which is called as body mass index. And then body mass index in Asians, again, there are different. They are different than the Caucasians, which are the white skinned people. Their obesity is overall large obesity, while we Asians, we have more of internal fat, that is fat inside the abdomen, fat all over our organs, and these fats, they cause the metabolic syndrome. That is, they give metabolic diseases like high blood pressure, hypertension, and all. So we, as Asians, we are short statured, and they have more of visceral, that is fat inside the abdomen, and that is considered as severity of the obesity.
So just now you told the body mass index, right, sir?
Yes.
This as per children height and an average, what is the range of weight and height, sir?
There
Suppose
are
if the height is
particular
4 feet.
yeah, there are particular charts for the body percentile. Whenever in the school, children who are under the age of 10, then we will have to follow that chart. We have to get the height of that particular child in centimeters and their weight. And then on the graph, we graphically put as a point, and we have and those are the I could have shown you the graph. Unfortunately, I do not have those graphs right now with
No
me,
issues.
but these are available on the internet. Every child can be, asked to go on to the these graphs, which are available on the internet. Anybody can Google this for the body percentile. It
Okay.
is called as body
Even
percentile, and
okay.
that's how they can calculate at home as well. It's not a big science on this, and then every child can follow with that, and then it can be uh, compared with their weight and their growing height.
Sir, one more question, sir. Due to pressure, maybe study pressure, work pressure, the children have started eating more, sir. And that means they are bringing out their frustration through taking intake food. So, what can you advise for them, sir?
Yes, this is a very important thing. Most of the children in metros, especially, we consider they are they have the peer pressures of uh, the
Ji.
the peer pressures of the numbers. Generally, it's a number game that the children have to suffer. They unless they score good score, uh,
Ji.
they the they feel shamed about themselves because the world is asking
Pressure.
them to have score the number again for to these numbers, the percentages. They most of the children attend the special classes out of the school hours.
Ji.
Because of the special classes attended out of the school hours, they have less time to play actually the outdoor game. Again, unfortunately, during this lockdown and during this corona pandemic,
Yes.
no children are sent out and to meet up, their friends to play the group games, the group outdoor sports. So that is another reason which is causing them in their obesity. So it's pressures which are probably not being unattended. They go unattended. These pressures they should come down, and children can be encouraged to not score the higher numbers, but the average numbers are also fine. They should be, this certain point to be stressed upon, unless they are appearing for those competitive exams. But during,
Yes.
say, until the 10th standard or till the 12th standard, they need not be pressurized unduly. That's what we doctors now we have reduced to. So that is one. Every parent, since because now children are homestuck, so every parent should follow some good healthy programs uh, on the smart TVs where children can have major meals with the parents. Secondly, children's moms, especially, they should take their children, involve them in their kitchen activities, let them understand what are
Exactly.
they eating, how many calories that they are going to eat in whatever new things that they are making. So children are encouraged to work in the kitchen. So they should be, introduced to all the new pulses, how pulses give proteins to them, what fats and what sugar content of their day-to-day bread or their creamy biscuits. This all these things they should be introduced to children. That's how children will start taking interest in um, uh, what they eat and what they should avoid. So
Okay.
these few things will definitely help. Again, there are a lot of uh, home exercises on YouTube. which are very important. If the children are not going out and not playing outdoor games, but they can definitely have their their calorie burning exercises on YouTube itself, the home exercises, and there are certain trainers. They actually work out with you continuously, and every day that should be a program, say about half an hour to 45 minutes program every child should have with their parents at the same time. So eating and exercising together along with parents, that's the most important thing in spite of our busy schedules.
Sir, suppose if the obesity is a heredity, what precautions we can take, sir?
Heredity role is definitely there, but it is always associated with their day-to-day activity, day-to-day their lifestyle. So heredity may play a small role
Okay.
in children's obesity, but it is more associated with their day-to-day lifestyle. So having a proper day-to-day lifestyle is also important. There are very small percentage of uh, hereditary problems or their
Okay.
hormonal problem, which needs a major action like a bariatric surgery. Because hereditary problem, even if the child eats small quantity, even then those
Huh.
particular children
Hmm. Hmm.
suffering from genetic issues, they put
Yes.
on weight. They
Yes, sir.
actually need the medical advice. So they have to consider, they have to go to either the bariatric physician or a bariatric surgeon, and they should be investigated properly and then take it ahead their medical part, the medical.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Vibha ma'am, I think you had a few more questions, and then I'll go
Yes.
the other questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So, doctor, one more thing, what happens that as a mother, we सारा जो इंडियन मदर्स है स्पेसिफिकली हमारा सारा प्यार बच्चे के लिए खाने पे ही आता है एंड इट्स जनरली सेड आल्सो कि बच्चे को यू शुड ट्राई एंड फीड द चाइल्ड ज्यादा खिलाओ अच्छे से खिलाओ बच्चे हैं हड्डियां बन रही हैं अभी दीज आर द काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स दैट we keep hearing. So you specifically said that it's important that the diet should be taken care of. So how much is this true? And what, that balance, as you said that mothers should be involving the children, but here if we look at the general people, they'll say अगर किसी ने न्यूट्रिशन की पढ़ाई करी हुई है तो उनको बोलेंगे नहीं तुम्हें कुछ नहीं पता, this is how it is supposed to be. So some bit of light if you could throw on this, and because there are a lot of parents also here, mothers also here, हमारे बड़े cute बच्चे हैं, सबसे अच्छे लगते हैं हमें जो थोड़े गोलू गोलू होते हैं, तो we really want those cheeks. तो हम चाहेंगे कि आप थोड़ा सा you could just let us know about this. And another question that I have is that the BMI, जब आपने बोला जो हमारा बॉडी मास इंडेक्स होता है वो कैसे और क्या रोल प्ले करता है, so जेनेटिक्स का इसमें क्या रोल है? बिकॉज आई हैव सीन लॉट ऑफ पीपल दे हॉग अ लॉट बट वो पतले ही रहते हैं, एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल जो थोड़ा सा भी खाते हैं बड़ी जल्दी से मोटे हो जाते हैं. सो दे वर द टू क्वेश्चंस दैट आई हैव.
Your I start with your second question first. That there is a myth that a chubby baby is a healthy baby is it is not true. First thing, the fat they secrete lot of bad hormones, and then they cause the vicious cycle, and then they cause the metabolism to go on a toss. So basically, every parent should understand chubby baby is not healthy being, or fat big uh, abdomen we call as pond. So that is also not healthy. That's not a sign of uh, healthy or richness or whatever. So they should be taking care of this. Then The next question was, mm, can you repeat that? That second way I
Sir,
forgot.
yeah, I said one about that, कि हम बहुत ज्यादा like परोठे हैं, घी है, तो हम वो बहुत ज्यादा खिलाते हैं, तो you are recommending no, there should be a portion size. My second question was regarding the BMI,
No.
that there's certain people जो बहुत खाते हैं फिर भी
They
पतले
eat
रहते हैं.
less. Uh, See what happens here. This is with our everybody's own setup of hormones and their metabolism. In certain patients, they eat big quantity, but still they remain slim and thin. While some patients, they just look at the food. Like my patients who are morbidly obese, they always take it as a joke that doc, when we eat, look at the food we put on. When I drink water, I put on. But it so happens whatever we eat is governed by our hormones. It, it's the genes which are the bad genes. What do they do? Now, if I'll give you one example. If I make a small roti, that roti has say 100 calories. Okay, about maximum people in this world may when they eat, say let's take me. I'm a I'm not a obese person. I'm a thin guy. So if I eat that roti, I get 20 calories out of 100. My other friend would have 25 calories. My third friend would have 30 calories out of that one single roti of 100 calories. But person who has abnormal genetic pattern, he would have that roti and he gets all 100 calories. So when we dine together, I have had three rotis. I got 20, 20, 20, 60 calories. My other friend 25, 25, 20 or 75. And my third friend 30, 30, 30, 90 calories. But the other person with a bad genes, when he has, say he has two rotis only because he's on a diet and he's obese. So he has had two rotis, but he got 100, 200 calories. So though he ate less than us, but he's got double or triple calories than we have, our body has. So these particular patients, they generally need bariatric surgery to give them a really least calories, but keep them satiated at the earliest. And that's why they need their stomach size to be very, very small, and their appetite hormone should be kept small. They were kept at the least. So these patients, those who have genetic abnormality, they have increased power or the fullest power to absorb the calories. So this is how the genes they affect. And you go anywhere in the world, there is no gene therapy for these problems. So when we perform bariatric surgeries, we alter those hormones where the genes are going to work on the hormone of that particular person, and we alter those hormones. Even if there are bad gen effects, the hormones are not allowed to be secreted in the fullest. So that's how bariatric surgery works in the genetic abnormalities also. But since there are a lot of genetic abnormalities, we do a really battery of tests to pinpoint which particular gene or which set of genes are abnormal in that particular child, and that's how we plan our bariatric surgery. Like it's like a tailor-made surgery for that particular child. I hope
Sir,
this is a little complicated, but I'm trying to explain it at a layman's term.
well understood, sir. Well understood, sir. Sir, is obesity reduced lifetime, sir?
It's a very, very important question again. Now, bariatric surgery, what they actually do, if suppose a person who's 50 kilograms over the normal ideal body weight, and he is finding very difficult to lose those 50 kilograms. What bariatric surgery does is it is made easier, and we get the 50 kilograms down, and we bring this all these our patients to their ideal body, and it stops there. Now from there, that particular person has to take it ahead and see that it will not be regained by maintaining good lifestyle. And what is a good lifestyle? Adequate consumption of the calories, adequate exercise, and adequate mental and physical rest. I am stressing on the word adequate because everybody's calorie intake is different depending upon their physical work. A, a, a sedentary worker, say a doctor or an engineer or maybe a chartered accountant or a lawyer, those who are desk bound, desk bound, they don't burn much calorie. While those who are manual laborers for on a construction site, or those who are the physical trainers and the workers, they need higher number of calories than a other person who's desk bound. So you have to have adequate calories according to their lifestyle, according to their family pattern. Adequate mental and physical rest. As we were just talking about stress in any child's life, the stress also causes lot of issues, and then they become binge eaters. Binge eaters meaning in between the meals, some stress children might go and consume some high cal stuff. So that is to be avoided. So adequate mental and physical rest and adequate exercise to that particular age of the child, weight of that particular child, and the time uh, which is available. We don't recommend strenuous exercises in those who are already obese because then they have effects on their weight bearing joints like knee joint or the ankle joint. So they might have the, the irritability of those joints very early in their life, and that should be avoided.
Okay. Sir, will it cause of cancer, sir?
Of late, obesity in human has been associated with few cancers, intestinal and other organ cancers.
Oh,
But it's not, it's rare. But we have my researchers have found out quite a few in the uh, early past.
Meenakshi ma'am, do
thank
you
you,
have
sir.
any questions before I take public questions? Meenakshi ma'am?
Goodman sir, I want to ask how does childhood obesity hamper growth and development of child?
Obesity actually does not hamper the physical growth, but mental growth, yes. So physical growth wise, obesity they give bowed legs. The you see those the leg bones which go bowed. That is the most common factor in any obese child. These people may have joint issues like as I just said, joint weight bearing joint issues like ankles and the knee joints. Then thirdly, these people have the spine issue. The spine would go, in a developing state. The spine may curve, uh, curve, curvature abnormality. They start with lot of the beginning of the most of the diseases. They may have psychological issue, which is very, very important because these obese children, they are kind of depressed children because they are not part of the general children game or the involvement of the daily activities, or when the children, obese children, go for their jobs also, they are not primarily taken for the job. So these psychological issues also play a lot of uh, uh, issues in the child development.
Doctor, I have a question and maybe I'll start with asking the children here. बच्चों यहाँ पर सबको जो 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 हाँ बोलेगा वो हैंड्स रेस करो, ठीक है? यहाँ पर कौन किसको लगता है कि आप लोगों के फ्रेंड्स वगैरह आपको प्रेशर करते हैं कि आप मोटे हो कि पतले हो, या आप लोगों को दूसरे को कहीं टीवी पे देखते हो फिर आपको लगता है, या आप पूछते हो अपने आप से कि आप को ऐसा लगता है कि आप या तो मोटे हो या बहुत पतले हो या अपना साइज चेंज करना चाहते हो? So, Doctor, my question is this: ki perception of who is fat and who is thin is wrong in our society, right? Parents का क्या रोल है इसमें कि और schools का क्या रोल है and peers का क्या रोल है कि इन बच्चों को समझाएं कि एक्चुअली मोटा क्या होता है, पतला क्या होता है, हेल्दी क्या होता है, बिकॉज एनोरेक्सिया भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, क्रैश डाइट्स, फैट डाइट्स, बच्चे छोटी उम्र में अननेसेसरी डाइट करने लगते हैं, हाई कैलोरी फूड छोड़ के बिल्कुल लो कैलोरी फूड लेके न्यूट्रिशियस फूड नहीं खाते. So how do we address this for this young audience here today?
The first thing, if whenever a child thinks about their own health and their own weight, I would love to congratulate those children because these are the children who are already aware.
Hmm.
Now is their parents' role, to consult with a proper doctor, a proper psychologist, or a proper nutritionist. So this will definitely take them to a next level.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So understanding a child into a calories important. So it's a very good beginning. Please have disclose this with their parents. The parents would take you to a good nutritionist, or they will take a proper action with this. They will make more and more aware to that particular child that even the nutrition. Most of the time, what I have seen in the families, Indian families, which which they start dieting on their own. Dieting in the sense, a lot of people have the myths about eating rice, eating non-veg
Hmm.
food. So the parent should be their kind of cheerleader to take them and make them understand what is proper diet and a proper nutrition. I normally recommend if the schools, parents, and the teachers, if they are well informed about the nutrition, it will take them miles, in a good direction because understanding what are calories and what are the vitamins which are required to a growing child. The nutritionist's help will be immensely important because going on a self driven diet program is not a good idea at all. Sometimes some races they need the rice and then they have their rice as a staple diet. So, but it doesn't affect them. And so, taking rice out of their plate does not do any good to that particular child. Some North India we see wheat eating people. South India we see rice eating people. But there are the genetic pattern of that particular child will be different. So we can't put this is not a blanket therapy. The nutrition that remove this and remove that. A good high protein diet with minimum carbs and the fats. That should be the all round diet. In a growing child, I would recommend every fourth hourly major meal with every every hour in between two should be with the liquid. The solid and the liquid should be properly calculated and to be offered to those particular children. Say morning 8 o'clock. So I divide into four. Morning 8 o'clock should be your breakfast time. 12 noon should be your lunch time. 4 o'clock in the evening should be your snacks time, and 8 o'clock should be your dinner time. In
Hmm.
between, now 8 to 12, 3 hours, 9, 11, 12. 9, 10, 11 should be some of the other liquid. Then again, after 12, 1, 2, 3. There should be some liquids like that. 5, 6, 7 should be another few liquids time. Post 8, one should not consume solid, but they can until they sleep. They can take plenty of liquids until they sleep. They should sleep early, they should get up early. The biological clock that says, say from sunrise to sunset, that should be the ideal. Those are the ideal times that people can go, and every parent try and reach to that biological clock. Start the day with sunrise, end the day with sunset. And when this practice will be followed, there won't be any necessity for any supplement. Believe me, post bariatric surgery, I don't recommend any supplement, which are people, all the human, we should take natural proteins, natural carbohydrates, and natural fats. These are very important. Processed food or on the shelf food or packaged food, I don't recommend to any child, neither to child nor to their parents. So these are the few things one should fix in their mind. They should freshly prepared food is the best whatever we have seen in the past. Last 21 years, I'm into bariatrics and tackling only obesity people, and this is what my last 21 years of experience is. Eat natural. There is nothing that I would recommend if the person who's vegetarian and if the vegetarian just by the face. I normally we have written a paper which is well accepted all over the world, where my the title of my paper was which is a good diet,
Hmm.
vegetarian or non-vegetarian. You will not believe 73% when I studied my own data, 73% of my patients who who were morbidly obese, severely obese, and they had to undergo bariatric surgery.
Hmm.
So this deduces that not only the vegetarian diet is only not healthy, but it's a mixed diet that one should have. So mixed diet, if it's faith-based vegetarianism, then you must see that you will have good vegetarian proteins about the kind of a weight that person has. A child with say 40 kilograms or 30 kilograms should have 30 to 40 kilograms or 40 grams of protein in a day. So the high protein, low fat and low carb. That should be the ideal diet for a parent to calculate. As the age advances, then their protein levels are according to their actual weight. So if the person who's 70 kilograms, 60 to 70 kilograms, they should have 60 to 70 grams of protein in a day.
And what about exercise? How long should one exercise for?
Oh, exercise is a part of their daily routine. children who are driven to the school, who are assessed to to go to the school, should not be recommended. Where or if the schools have the playground, so there should be at least a couple of hours that the children should, during their uh, curriculum, they should be given outdoor sports, or the children should start walking or bicycling, cycling to the school and come back. So something of that sort, this can be recommended from all the schools. The schools that we visited a couple of years back to gain the data on obesity in the schools, and according to the socioeconomic status also, most of the children who were non-obese, who were from non this low socioeconomic class, were walking to the school or cycling to the school, while rich schools had multiple cars dropping to the school.
I think there's
So
one quick
try
question, doctor. Then before that, then I'll ask Meenakshi ma'am to end the session since it's already 5 o'clock. There was someone who raised their hand. Would you like to ask your question? I think we had given them. I think they've logged out.
Should I start?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Heart Care Foundation team, for arranging such a wonderful session. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay Barut, Nana Agrawal Ahuja, my all co-hosts, all students and their parents who were attended this meeting. Thank you for joining us. Today we had an opportunity to hear you, sir, your thought, and this way surely we are going to encourage our younger generations. We have always found the meeting with the Heart Care Foundation immensely enriching, owing to Dr. K.K. Agarwal, who has left a great legacy for us all to relish. Also, sir, we appreciate that you could take out time to educate this momentous issue. We really value your inputs and hope we can raise our awareness. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Sanjay sir, for enlightening us. Our Naina ma'am, the icon word of KK sir, Mahuna.
Thank
Sir
you.
Sir is there to bless us. We will not face any problem.
Sir, shall always
Definitely,
remain with us.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for supporting us. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varud. It was a pleasure. And thank you, Naina Agrawal. Pleasure and love what you're doing. Seriously, I love it from the core of
Yeah.
my heart.
Thank you.
Kudos to
Thank
you.
so much.
Keep going on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you
bless
very
you.
much.
God bless you.
to inviting me on such a beautiful forum. I hope I have clarified your question. Those who are yet not, I'm ready to come and participate to make awareness program to be taken ahead for a good cause.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so
thank
much.
you so much.